Introducing antiderivative. Antiderivative has another name called integration. So the prefix anti means reverse and backward, right? So antiderivative, that means you are reversing the process of derivative. So simply speaking, I would just call that undo the derivative. So we have four functions. F of x equals to x to the fifth, 3x to the fifth, 3x to the negative 5, and then negative 2 times x to the negative 10. So let's review derivative. So how do you find the derivative of x to the fifth? So you bring the 5 down. So you bring the 5 down, and then x to the 5 minus 1. And then the next problem, you bring the 5 down, so that is equals to 15, and then x to the 5 minus 1. Bring the negative 5 down, you have a negative 15, negative 5 minus 1 is negative 6. Bring the negative down, you have a 20, and then x to the negative 10 minus 1 is negative 11. All right, how about antiderivative? So antiderivative, so let me remind you again, for derivative, you bring the power down and then take the power minus 1. So for antiderivative, we are going to do this backward. First, we take the power plus 1. So that is 5 plus 1 equals to 6. We don't bring it down, we take whatever the power is, we add 1 to it, and then we take this power to the denominator, so 1 over 6. How do I know this antiderivative is correct? Simple. All you have to do is you take the derivative of this. So when you bring the 6 down, the coefficient becomes a 1, and then 6 minus 1 is equals to 5, right? And the next problem, 5, I'm going to add 1 to it. So the 5 plus 1 is equals to 6, and then we put the 6 in the denominator. Of course, you don't forget the 3. Check your work, take the derivative, bring the 6 down, and then 6 minus 1 is a 5, right? And then next problem, negative 5 plus 1 is negative 4, and then we put the negative 4 in the denominator. So check your work, bring the negative 4 down, and then negative 4 minus 1 is negative 5. And then last problem, so this is x, negative 10 plus 1 is negative 9, and then put the negative 9 in the denominator. Check your work, bring the negative 9 down, negative 9 minus 1 is negative 10. So for antiderivative, so when the first time we introduce antiderivative, we will just use the word antiderivative. But after this video or after this lesson, we will just start calling it integration. So here is how calculus works. Usually we divide a calculus course into 3 semester or 3 big courses. The first course is called differential calculus. Differential calculus contains derivative and limits, right? So you learn limit first, and then you switch to derivative, and then plus the application of derivative. And then the second course is called integral calculus. Integral calculus means you are not doing derivative anymore. You are doing everything backward. So that is integral calculus, which is all about antiderivative and integration and its application. And then the last class, which is the step 3 or level 3, that is called multivariable calculus and plus some vectors. So in multivariable calculus, you will be handling a function that contains several variables. So maybe for a function, you might see the variable x, y, and z. So you have to handle multivariable functions. All right, so let me give you more regarding integration. So for integration, this is how the integration works. So first, we have to draw an integral of a function f of x and then dx. So this is called integral. Okay, so that looks like this, that looks like s. So that is called an integral. And then this is called integral. And then the f of x is called integrand. And then the dx is called differential. Differential, the dx tells me you are integrating, and you're integrating the function and take x and treat x as an independent variable. So one simple example is the integral of let's say x to the 5th dx. Okay, so how do we do the integration? First, we add 1 to the exponent, 5 plus 1, and then we put the whole thing in the denominator, so that is 1 over 6 x to the 6. How do you know this is correct? Simple. All you have to do is you take the derivative of that, and then you can get to the x to the 5th very easily. And one thing for integration is you have to do the plus c. So what is the c called? The c is called a constant. Is a constant value. What is a constant value? Like 6, 10, 11, negative, 100, pi, e, just a constant. without an x. So this is c is called a constant. The plus c is not optional. You have to write the c every time you do an integral. Okay, and then the 1 over 6 x to the 6 plus c, this has a name called general solution. Most textbooks call this general solution, or using the word antiderivative, we will not call this the antiderivative. I will call this an antiderivative. What was the reason of calling it an n instead of d? So the reason we don't use the word the antiderivative, that is because we don't know what the c is. So c can be any value, right? So that means you can have many antiderivatives. So using a constant c, I would just call that an antiderivative. Or just call this a general solution. And then how do we figure out the c? Well, to figure out a c, I will give you the next example. So the next example that I would like to use is, I would like to use f prime of x equals to 3x squared plus 5x minus 3. So in the past, I usually give you an f of x and then ask you to find the first derivative. But now, I am giving you the first derivative and then asking you to find the original function, f of x. How do we do that? You have to undo the derivative. That means antiderivative. Antiderivative means integration. So your f of x that is equals to the integral of 3x squared plus 5x minus 3. And this is with respect to x. So how do you do integration? So we are not going to carry the power down. I will take the power plus 1 and then put this in the denominator. And don't forget the coefficient. And then for the 5x, I will take the 1 plus 1, put that in the denominator, the 5, and then the integral of 3 is equals to 3x because the derivative of 3x is equals to 3. Don't forget the plus c, so let's clean up the coefficient. So 3 over 3, that is equals to 1, so we have x to the third, and then plus 5 over 2, x squared, minus 3x plus c, and then this is called f of x, which is called a general solution, right? And then how do you know this antiderivative is correct? Simple. All you have to do is you take the derivative of this and you can easily get the f prime of x back. So this is called a general solution, or an antiderivative. And then how do you figure out the c? To figure out the c, you have to get something called an initial value. So let me give you an initial value. Initial. Let's say we have f of 2 that is equals to 10. What does that mean? That means when x is equals to 2, y is equals to 10, and you will be using this to find the constant c. So f of 2, that means 2 to the third, plus 5 over 2, and then 2 squared, minus 3 times 2, plus c, that is equals to 10, and then you have to solve for c. All right, so this is 8, right? And then plus 4 divided by 2 is 2. 2 times 5 is 10. And then minus 6 plus c equals to 10. So we have 18 minus 6, that is equals to 4. That is equals to 12, right? We have 18 minus 6 plus c equals to 10. So that is here, right? 18, yes. So that is equals to 12 plus c equals to 10. So what is c equals to? C is equals to negative 2, right? So c is equals to 10 minus 12, which is negative 2. And then when you plug in the c to the general solution, you have f of x equals to x to the third plus 5 over 2 x squared minus 3x, and then the plus c, which is negative 2. This is called a particular solution. One thing that I would like to remind you is when people find the general solution, they forget the c all the time. So if you forget the c, especially when you are doing homework online, they will just mark it as wrong. right? So don't forget the C when you are looking for a general solution. All right, so that is the end of this video. Do you like it? Do you think this is helpful? If so, give me a like, share the video for me, click the subscribe button before you leave, and I will catch you all in the next one. Signing out.